They say in Lagos, if you want to look powerful, you call Amarachi. Brides waited months. Politicians' wives begged for appointments. The elite trusted her with their faces and their reputations. But there was one rule, one brush, and no one was ever allowed to touch it. Not her staff, not her clients, not even by accident. If it slipped from her hand, she would scream. And then, one night, in a luxury hotel, someone opened her makeup bag. What happened next didn't just threaten her career. It revealed a secret she had spent years protecting. This is the story of the brush that must never fall. In the glittering city of Lagos, where the ocean kissed the shore with restless pride and the skyline shimmered like a crown of ambition, there lived a makeup artist named Amarachi Nwosu. They called her the Face Whisperer. Brides would wait 6 months for her touch. Politicians' wives sent drivers at dawn to secure her booking. Socialites would cancel entire events if Amarachi was unavailable. In a land where beauty was currency and appearance was power, Amarachi had become the mint. But Amarachi was not born into glitter. She grew up in a narrow street in Surulere, where her mother braided hair beneath a faded umbrella and her father repaired shoes under a mango tree. From childhood, Amarachi saw beauty where others saw dust. She mixed ground charcoal with shea butter to line her cousin's eyes. She blended hibiscus petals into lip stains. She practiced on anyone who would sit still. And then, one night, everything changed. Years ago, before fame found her, Amarachi had traveled to her grandmother's village in Enugu. It was during the New Yam Festival. Drums echoed through the hills. Masquerades danced like spirits borrowed from another world. Her grandmother, Mama Ifunanya, called her aside. "You see with different eyes," the old woman said, her voice thin but firm. "Beauty answers you. But beauty is not powder and paint alone. It is spirit. It is intention." From a carved wooden box, Mama Ifunanya brought out a brush. It was unlike any brush Amarachi had seen. Its handle was dark Iroko wood, smooth yet warm to the touch. The bristles shimmered faintly in the moonlight, though no glitter was visible. "This brush," her grandmother whispered, "was carved by your great-grandfather, who sculpted masks for kings. The bristles were blessed with prayers for confidence, dignity, and truth. But listen carefully." Her grandmother gripped her wrist tightly. "It must never be touched by another hand. Not friend, not family, not client. If another claims it, what it gives will no longer be yours to give." Amarachi laughed then, thinking it was village folklore woven to entertain a city girl. But she took the brush, and from the first day she used it, something extraordinary happened. When Amarachi touched the bride's cheek with that brush, the bride did not just look beautiful, she felt beautiful. Nervous hands grew steady. Self-doubt softened. Faces that had hidden behind insecurity began to glow with quiet power. Word spread. "She doesn't just paint you," a senator's wife once said. "She awakens you." From Abuja to Port Harcourt, from fashion weeks to high-profile weddings, Amarachi's name became synonymous with transformation. Her studio in Victoria Island sparkled with marble floors and golden mirrors. Her employees, 5 of the most talented artists she had trained herself, were strictly instructed, "No one touches this brush." It rested in its own velvet compartment in her makeup kit. She cleaned it herself, packed it herself, guarded it like a newborn child. If an assistant reached too close, her voice would sharpen instantly. Careful. Once, during a celebrity wedding, the brush slipped from her fingers. Gasps filled the bridal suite. Amarachi screamed. a sharp, frightened sound that silenced the room. She lunged forward and caught it inches before it hit the floor. Her hands trembled afterward. Clients whispered about her eccentric attachment to that one brush. Some thought it was superstition. Others believed it was branding genius. But none dared question her results. Then came the night that would test everything. Amarachi had just finished preparing Chief Adebayo's daughter for her engagement ceremony at the luxurious Eco-Imperial Hotel. The suite glittered with crystal chandeliers. Champagne flowed. Laughter bounced off the high ceilings. The bride looked breathtaking. Amarachi packed hurriedly because she had another booking across town. Calls were flooding her phone. Drivers waited downstairs. In the rush, distracted by congratulations and camera flashes, she left one bag behind. The bag. The one containing the brush. She realized it halfway across Third Mainland Bridge. Her heart stopped. "Turn back!" she shouted at her driver. By the time she returned to the hotel, the event was in full celebration. Staff had begun clearing rooms. Panic clawed at her chest as she rushed to the front desk. "My makeup bag," she said, breathless. "It was left in the bridal suite." The receptionist nodded politely. "Housekeeping has collected all items, ma. You may check lost and found in the morning." Morning? Amarachi did not sleep. When she returned at dawn, the manager brought out her bag. But something was wrong. The velvet compartment was open. The brush lay inside, but it felt cold. "Did anyone touch this?" she asked, her voice barely steady. The manager hesitated. "One of our staff said she found it fascinating. She only admired it briefly. I'm sure no harm was meant." The room began to spin. Her next appointment was a high-profile political gala. Amarachi applied foundation with steady hands, but when she reached for the sacred brush, something felt different. She swept it across her client's cheek. The glow did not come. The client looked beautiful, yes, but something deeper was missing. There was no awakening, no transformation. By the end of the week, whispers began. Her last few jobs weren't the same. Maybe she's tired. Maybe she's lost her touch. Bookings slowed. Her employees watched her carefully. They had never seen their boss unsure. Alone in her studio one night, Amarachi stared at the brush under bright light. It looked unchanged, but she understood now. It was never the wood, never the bristles. It was the belief, the discipline, the sacredness she attached to her craft. The brush had been a vessel, yes, but the true power had always flowed from her intention, her respect for beauty, and the legacy of confidence her grandmother taught her. And somewhere along the journey, she had shifted her faith from her gift to the object. She fell to her knees, tears streaming freely. "Forgive me, Mama," she whispered. The next morning, Amarachi gathered her team. "I have been hiding behind a story," she confessed. "This brush was special to me, but I made it my source instead of my reminder." She held it up. "It is wood. What makes a woman glow is not bristles. It is how we make her feel seen." From that day forward, Amarachi stopped guarding the brush with fear. She still used it, but no longer worshipped it. Instead, she poured herself fully into every face. She spoke affirmations to her clients. She asked about their dreams, their fears, their stories. She painted not just skin, but spirits, and something even greater happened. Her work became more powerful than before. People said there was a new depth to her artistry, a maturity, a presence. The brush eventually wore out, as all things do, but Amarachi did not. She had discovered that tools can assist talent, but they can never replace it. Moral of the story: never worship the tool more than the gift inside you. Success built on fear will tremble. Success built on purpose will stand. What makes you exceptional is not what you hold in your hands, but what you carry in your heart. And most importantly, guard your craft with discipline, but never let superstition imprison your growth. In the end, Amarachi became more than the elite's favorite makeup artist. She became a mentor, a storyteller, a woman who taught that true beauty, like true power, comes not from charms, objects, or secrets, but from confidence, integrity, and the courage to believe that you are enough. And in Lagos, when brides sit in front of golden mirrors and feel their fears melt away, they still whisper, "There is something different about Amarachi's touch." And they are right, but it is not in the brush. It never was.